Thank you for joining us on the Southwest Florida Business Podcast. We've got Rodrigo and Cheyenne from RC Marketing Group in Naples. We cover a wide variety of things, kind of how they take a different approach to marketing and working with customers. We dive into some, really in-depth strategies around how you can use social media and marketing to actually become a sales funnel for your customers. And then we talk about some pretty cool companies that they're working with in Naples. So stick around. I hope you enjoy this episode. And yeah. Guys, you ready to do this?
Yeah.
Rodrigo, Cheyenne, thank you guys for joining me. And I appreciate you guys getting in contact and coming in on short notice. And
yeah.
I'm glad it worked out like this. So thank you guys very much. And I guess just to kick it off, if you guys can, please introduce yourselves and kind of tell us about the company.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, of course, you pick me.
Kick it off.
Okay, I'm Cheyenne, and our company is RC Marketing Group. We are a full-service digital marketing company.
Okay.
We've only been doing this for like a year now, or a little less full-time. And we're just out there really trying to make connections throughout the community and bring a lot of companies together.
Okay, cool.
That's a super humble way
of
putting it, which is very true. Everything she said. We have backgrounds in marketing. Years. I've been doing it for 9 years, digital marketing. So I started 9 years ago. Facebook, Instagram, the marketing for that has evolved a ton, right?
Oh, I bet. There wasn't even really like money back in it then. That's
Exactly.
when it was just starting out to be
I don't
money
even
back
think, and the ads, the ads have changed so much, right? How to target somebody, the demographic and everything. It's evolved a ton. So in those 9 years, kind of have grown with the digital side. And then Cheyenne was doing
yoga and Pilates studio for a handful of years. I ran it and did a lot of the marketing and stuff for them.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
So
where it
she has marketing experience as well. And yes, we have been doing it full time for about a year. But it's growing, a ton and rapid. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and it was cool to talk to you on the phone this morning and learn a little bit more about it, because before that I had seen you guys on Instagram. I saw that you guys have the page up and everything like that. I can see that it's a marketing firm. And then as we were talking and you're telling me about the different customers that you work with, you're like, oh, we work with so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. I was like, oh, I follow, all those pages. I've seen all of their stuff. And then you're both like, oh yeah, well, we do everything for those customers. So it's not just, hey, that's our customer and you may have seen something that we did. It's more like, hey, that's our customer and you've seen everything that we did because we do everything.
Right.
So can you guys kind of dive into how the service works and generally when you're working with people, like what do you guys do and what does that process look like?
So I think it's not a one size fits all for every client we have.
Sure.
But the goal for our company is the same for everybody. So our main thing we want to push is networking. So the same way we want to network and get all these companies, we want them to network as well.
Sure.
And we do that by involving them. If one of them is having an event, if it's a charity, if there's an event, we try to figure out how to involve the other companies that we have into that charity to then create content for everybody that's different, but all around that event. So that's the main thing that we try to push. For our clients.
Sure.
And then we do the graphics, we do videos, we do the editing, we do pictures, and we're at the events, we're networking. If our clients are out and they're out at an event and they take a picture and send it over to us, we post that as well. So it's a diverse way of handling and working with our clients.
Okay. So it's less about like, hey, you guys provide this stuff to us and we'll just kind of send stuff out. You're pretty much getting in the game with them of, we're doing X and we need you guys to be there to help us out, to film something, to take pictures, to write stuff up for us. And then even beyond that, go out, post it, handle all this stuff. You guys are basically becoming, I don't say this as in like, you're basically becoming employees of them for this service almost, because, hey, we have a job as a company and we need somebody to do this entire job, not just outsourcing a piece of it. We're outsourcing this whole role to you and we need you to run this. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's very fair. That's also, I think, a great thing to touch on, because I think as we want to scale. So as we scale, I think that plays a huge role in how we want the scaling process to go.
Sure. And what kind of customers that you can work with, and kind of seems like the level of service that they would be looking for.
Right. So our biggest thing is our customer service with everybody, but also our turnaround time. So we're big because the same way as that we're business owners, we're consumers. So we'd love to, when we want a service, we like a fast service, right? I think just like anybody. So if our promise time on a website is 2 weeks.
Wow.
Some people, and there's nothing wrong with it, you know.
Sometimes there's no promise time on a website.
Sometimes there's no promise time. Sometimes it's 2 months.
Sure.
So our promise time is 2 weeks. So we really want to hustle to give great quality product and services, but in a timely manner.
Sure.
You know. So we want to get differentiated between other companies, and I think that is what we're pushing to differentiate us.
Okay. So just on a business sense, because I'm curious about this, because I started this business a few months ago, so I'd say I'm probably 6 months behind your guys' pace right now, but in a similar boat of just the new startup, but you have some experience in the past with what you're doing. What has it been like to really launch this business and and go full time and bring this thing to the next level? I mean, what's that process been like? How did it start to make the transition to go full time, and how did it evolve from there?
So we have different stories. I'll let Cheyenne go first. I've been lucky enough to be in business for a little bit, but Cheyenne can go first on this question.
I feel like it's. My story is a lot simpler than his. For me, I was with that yoga and Pilates studio for like 3 or 4 years. And from there, I realized I really wanted to branch out and do my own thing, of course, with Rodrigo's help and all his knowledge. And so one day I just let my boss know that I wanted to do what I was doing full time. And then I left, and that's it. That's what I've been doing. It's been pretty crazy because, of course, he can vouch for it, but there were days when I was like, I can't wait to get this off the ground and get started, and when we get busy and we get clients, and then now we're here and we're busy and there's clients, and it's like going so fast and there's so much to do.
I think that scary part is when you fully commit, right? Or not knowing when to fully commit.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So like taking that leap of faith, even though you believe in what you're doing, sometimes, you're working, grinding all day, every day, and you just don't see the results right then and there. But it's like planting seeds. I think that is great advice for anybody who wants to start a business. So anybody who wants to start a business, sometimes if you believe in what you're doing and it's good service or a good product, and you really believe in it, then put the work in, and then eventually it's like planting seeds. It won't show now, but maybe 3 months from now it'll show. And it's funny because Cheyenne and I have been talking about that, and it's happened with us. So last year, Cheyenne would say, I want to get clients already. I want to have clients already. I told her, yeah, we're going to have clients, but right now we're planting seeds, and eventually, it might not happen now, but 3 months. Like we just got a client who we've been talking to them for like 8 months.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it takes that long, but you just got to keep pushing if you believe in what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, and that's how sales goes too. I mean, that's one of the things that was one of the nice things about doing sales before starting my own business was the knowledge that, yeah, these deals a lot of times take time.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't always fall into place. And sometimes, and I was kind of in the same boat, you know, a few months ago with some of the last, you know, I have a few different services that I'm offering, but some of that came down to like, I would just put together this list. I'd talk to some people and I'd be like, I'm golden. I've got these people.
Yeah.
But also part of it is knowing in sales, like you don't have it until you have the contract and you have payment and you're starting to work on it. And these things change and it shifts. But it is that feeling of been kind of busting my ass on this stuff for months now, and these things finally start to break. But one thing that's really helped me is kind of that shift and like changing what I'm doing, not fundamentally, but these little pivots and adjustments and little changes. So, I mean, from your guys' perspective of getting this thing launched and going from that stage of wishing for customers to now being busy and having customers, I mean, were there any kind of like minute changes that you guys had to do and adjustments? Like, yeah. So what was that like? I know it's a broad question, but
yeah, no, it's a great question. It's a great question. It's so sometimes I guess it depends what industry you're going into, right? Some industries are more it's easier to find that working system, right?
Sure.
Or those guidelines of, okay, this is what we do, this is what the business. But then some industries you have to pivot and you have to adjust, and this is definitely that industry. And you have to get used to adapting to different things. You kind of learn your business as you go, right? And
that's definitely true.
And you perfect it as time goes on. So at the beginning, I think one thing that could be discouraging for anybody who's new to business or wants to start a business, sometimes like it's okay not to have it right for the first year, you know. If you do, depending on what industry you go to, of course, if you do and you have that game plan going into it, it avoids a lot of headaches and hurdles. But it's okay if you don't, and it really depends on the industry. But adapting probably is the best thing to do, and learning how, even with we've known each other longer than we've been business partners, but we're learning, and I think we're at a good point now. We're learning how we work with each other.
Sure.
Right, especially if you're going into a partnership business. So yeah, I think just adapting really. Okay. The main.
How about you? What have you learned so far on this journey and adapting and doing all this stuff?
I mean, pretty much what he's saying. I mean, just that you really have to like put the work in and adjust, because everybody's different and every person like has certain things for each different type of company that they need, and it's never the same.
Sure.
Yeah, regardless, they need attention, more leads and all that stuff, but it's never the same. You have to pivot and like figure out how you're going to help them differently, because it's just not the same. Not everything that we do is going to work for each person.
Yeah, it's not a template that you can just plug and play everybody. Right. You have a core framework probably, but beyond that, you really got to tailor it.
Exactly to the business. Yeah. And we're huge on not just marketing although we are a marketing company, of course, we want our clients, all of our clients to see results from the marketing we do. So we don't just want to make the clients look pretty on social platforms. We want them. We engage. So
yeah, it's so hands-on.
Okay, so what you're doing with this stuff is not just like, hey, we're making the content and then here you go. We're making the content and then we actually do the process that makes this an actual business investment, like of why you're even doing this for your business. Because you're not posting pictures on your business because you love it, like we were talking about before this. Like, I don't like social media. I don't like being on it personally. Like I don't enjoy it, but I do it now for my business and I'm seeing the benefits. Like by me putting my stuff out there, we're having this conversation right now.
Exactly.
You know,
It works.
it's exactly. So it's like facilitating that conversation, but it's not about just posting and then forget it. It's creating that engagement, creating that pathway to actually connect to your business and then lead to dollars.
Right.
So that's kind of that's really like the foundation of what you guys are like facilitating then for your customers.
That literally leads right into what I was just speaking about. So you being on social and starting this business and sending that, hey, thanks for the follow. That's how we connected because we responded to that. So, and we do that with all of our businesses that we have, all of the clients that we have. So we don't just let it go, you know, we don't just heart it, you know, and it's funny because if we go on the Naples Lifestyle magazine, we did just heart it, but it's because
you already had the other.
Literally, like you messaged Shea Shop as well, and I mean, we already.
It's because we're. It's
So,
because
like,
we won all the clients. So
hello.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, we and those clients that we have, we want them to connect with you because it's just networking and it's great marketing for everybody.
And we literally take the time to learn about the business because we want to do that customer service answer for them and make sure that that person transfers into actually buying things or whatever the company is.
So, okay. So then another piece of what you guys are really offering, I guess it's more doubling down on what we were just talking about, but it is facilitating that pathway to revenue for these companies. So it's taking that mindset and putting yourself almost in the sales role for these businesses, or at least a proactive marketing role, something that is like, hey, you know, this isn't just some pictures, like come in, be a part of the sales process. And then by the time it gets to your customers, you can actually hand off like somebody who's very interested in something.
Like a perfect lead that just wants your product, their service. But by that time that they get to the business, they already had a great
interaction,
a great experience digitally with the company, right? And we really push that. So we really push high customer service to get results so for us, it's like we want all of our clients to succeed because if they succeed, we still have a client, right? So, and I've been on the other end of marketing companies wanting to do things or something for ads, you know, spend on this for an ad and to be honest, I just never found the right fit being on the other end. So I can understand what a business owner wants, and at the end of the day, it's results, right? It's a great, you know, it's the whole thing. The great service, make me look good on the social platforms, but ultimately, let's get results. Let's give these digital customers, let's turn them into real physical customers, right? And give them a great product and a great service. So
well, and I think being business owners yourselves actually helps kind of connect that to other business owners because it's less about give me your money as it is to, hey, let me facilitate what you're looking for because you guys are looking for the same thing really for yourselves is if I'm going to work with vendors, I want high quality people that are going to know what I'm actually looking for, that know my pain points, that can actually solve them and give me something valuable versus you do talk to a lot of companies that do marketing and it's like, yep, give us 10 grand a month. And basically what you're going to get is we're going to do this and this and this. And it's like, okay, well, how does that help me hit my goals? It's like, well, what are your goals? I don't even know what should my goals be, you know, and you gotta kind of flesh that stuff out. Because, and like you said, it's going to be different for every person because the guy that you guys work with, the table guy that makes those awesome tables.
Keith is amazing.
By the way, those tables are sick. Those things are so cool. I was looking at it.
They're beautiful.
It's like you're looking at a
piece of art.
Well, it is a piece of art, but it really looks like, I feel like when I'm looking at these tables, because they put the blue,
the epoxy tables.
The epoxy in the middle, I feel like I'm in a helicopter looking down at like a river on like a valley or something.
Right.
Man, that guy that guy's got it figured out. But his goals are going to be different than if you're working with like the Lifestyle Magazine. Is the lead generation is going to be different. Right. That guy's selling probably high dollar tables because they're works of art, but the client's going to be different. But the leads you don't need to have 100,000 people following and engaging. You need X amount that are interested in this thing, and then facilitating that, because that's a high dollar amount that goes to him for that work, versus maybe a magazine where you do need to get high volume and all these things. Lots of eyes and things like that. So no, it's cool that you guys dig into that and kind of align with what the company's looking to do, because a lot of people don't do that.
Right. It's a lot of
any
industry, and especially this industry, the marketing side of it. It's easy to. I'm not gonna say easy is the wrong word, but it makes more sense in a way, right? Because it prevents less hurdles to go over when you do a one size fits all.
Sure.
For companies, and it's again, for lack of a better word, easier to scale that way.
Sure.
Right? But we wanted to do something different, because there's a lot of marketing companies, so we want to be different than others, and our thing is just catering. It's not a one size fits all for our businesses. The service is still the same. It's excellent service when we're marketing for businesses, but it's catered to your business, and it's and like you said, we have monthly options that we do, but it's just a baseline. If they say I'm more focused on in this area, okay, let's add that in.
Yeah. You can really tailor it.
We tailor it.
Okay.
Right.
So I guess just on this topic of, if you guys are taking this different approach, well, and you're only a year in, so this might not even be relevant or something that's on your radar, but when it comes to thinking about where you're at now and then scaling in the future, what are some of the things that you see, like what are some directions that you guys see the company going in since you're taking this approach? Or is it really kind of too early to think about it? Because it's too early for me to think about that.
Yeah.
So
I have an idea, but let's see. I don't know. I'm curious
let's see if the partners align.
Yeah.
I mean, my thought process is just how we still have to I guess we're carving out our niche, but we have to set our strict baseline on how everything's going to work all the time, because we're eventually going to have to teach it to lots of people if we want to have a huge company maybe one day.
Sure.
But I'm imagining that's exactly where it's going to go, which is eventually we'll just teach our values for this company to other people, make it easy.
Yeah.
And then we're just doing the networking part.
Right.
And we're just at all the events and things like that. And other people will be doing more of the talking to all the people on the socials, posting for us, and things like that.
So the labor.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Much, right? So,
but setting that philosophy
starts from the top,
Mm-hmm.
and
it has to
making
start
sure
from the
that
top.
that's the foundation.
Exactly.
Because a lot of companies, either they kind of make or break based on that.
Yeah.
And you can see it. You can see a lot of companies when they grow too by following those kind of core values, and when everybody knows them, then you can really hum along. And then sometimes when that goes away, or there's a management change, or it gets too big and the people at the top aren't paying attention to what's going on anymore, and you lose sight of that, I mean, things fall apart. So it's cool that you're that's a main focus for kind of the evolution of the company, because if you don't build that foundation to start, it's the chances of it falling apart are so high.
Exactly.
I think a lot of people miss that.
Yeah. 100%. And also, bigger isn't better, right? So there's necessarily not better. There's companies, digital marketing companies, that we've taken over certain clients from a huge digital marketing company that has 40 offices, just huge. But
Making
they're
big
not getting,
mistakes,
but making mistakes or not giving the client the results they want. So sometimes it's probably an easy sale for that company to acquire clients, but
because they have the backing,
because they have
the
they have the image, they have the results, the work, right? Because you're at 40 reps. I think that would sell anybody on anything. But how long can you keep that client happy, with the results? I think that's the most important thing. So scaling,
it's not always better.
It's not always better.
Yeah. And if you're not staying in the fight, then you can lose sight of what's going on.
But scaling's I've always been interested in scaling. Always. So my brother started a business in Naples, in the food industry with my parents and my sister. I joined a year and a half after, and but when I remember that before I came down, I was up in Gainesville studying.
Okay.
And I was 18, and I had a conversation with my brother, and I told him I want to come down, but my goal is to scale. So I love the mom and pop atmosphere of the business, but I don't want to be in that business 20, 30 years. So my whole thing was scale. And we did scale. We got up to 14 employees. So I've always been interested in scaling. So I've learned a lot. And the food industry is hard and it's tough, especially when you have a lot of people under you. You have to really create a great working system. And I've learned a ton. And it's day and night from the marketing business.
But the fundamentals are
the same. Always in business, there's always the business basics, right?
Yeah.
Some are just more detailed. Some businesses just so much attention to little details. It gets broken down into, and that's the food industry pretty much. So I think with scaling this is not that it's going to be easier, but we have good experience to scale the right way with this business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So one thing I want to ask you guys about when you just brought it up of you got a client from one of these companies it's just a big company, right? So when you guys go in and talk to business owners, what are some of the primary challenges that they're facing on either a daily or a weekly basis that you guys come in and help them with? So when you sit down with a business owner and you say, hey, we talk to business owners all the time and they're dealing with X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Are you dealing with any of these? What are X, Y, and Z? What are you guys seeing?
I think it's different for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna let Cheyenne. Do you want to answer this one?
You started laughing, so I think you got to take this one.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, of course, that's how we end up getting there, or from hearing from people or getting our foot in the door, is that, of course, a lot of people don't know how to manage their social medias, or they just don't have the time.
Sure.
Which is understandable because it's a full-time job. They literally all make that joke.
Yeah, it is.
So that's
or they're missing a lot. They don't even realize.
Or they're doing. So every business is going to spend on marketing dollars, right? Every business.
Sure.
You have to. You need eyes. Even if you're doing amazing, there's a budget for marketing dollars, and every business wants that money to be spent to something that's going to give them results. So we really listen and pay attention to what it is that the area that they want to improve on, and we really care about that business succeeding. So we cater exactly to that business and that business owner, and it isn't like, hey, this is our services.
Take it or leave.
Pick one. Pick one.
No.
If you don't, then we can't shake hands on it. We don't do that.
Sure.
We're always like, let's see where you are. Okay, we think that this will work best, and you know what? We'll add it in. We'll add that into that service.
And just roll with it and kind of customize it.
We do a 3-month period where the first 3 months, it's that relationship of them learning how we work and us learning what it takes to work for that client.
Yeah, and I do the same thing with the podcast production, because with those first 3 months, stuff like this, doing a podcast is not very straightforward to most people, but they can wrap their head around it in 3 months to know if it works for them.
Right.
And same thing with marketing, like you're just talking about when you go in to talk to business owners. These aren't marketing experts, not because they can't do it, because probably they're somewhat similar to me. They don't like to do it, or they're like, I don't have the time for it.
Too many hats.
Too many hats.
Too many hats to wear.
I know roughly what I'm trying to create,
Right.
but I don't have the time and I don't know how to fully execute on it. So it comes into place of like, all right, if we've got a 3-month trial period where we're working together, in 3 months, we're going to know if this is a good fit, if we should part ways, if we should keep working, or if you want to keep doing this, but you should work with somebody else. Let's make this a smooth handoff and just keep rolling. But that 90 days is, I think it's a good window to...
Especially to show results. Because some people think that maybe in like 30 days something will show, but
it's not an overnight thing. It takes longer than that. It's not an overnight thing.
Especially with something as intangible as what we're doing, because like you said, you're expecting something really quickly, and these kind of things happen over time, people kind of stumbling onto them and then getting engaged with it, and then things happen. Like, I'm sure you see it with the marketing stuff, is you put something out and then 2 months later you get a message on Instagram about something. It's not because of the one that you just put out, it's because the one they first saw 2 months ago. I mean, my brother's got that with his podcast of like, he does a aviation podcast. And and so he talks about.
So this is and I don't mean to cut you off at all, but see,
this gets me excited.
This is I think that right there, like that reaction is so real for the both of us, and we had it at the same time, and it's the first thing we think about is our client that. Laura, she has the Justin Swaggerty Aviation Foundation that's launching March 3rd. So I think that just goes to show that this is really what our main company standard is. Where our values are is really for our customers. So you say aviation, the first thing we think about is that one of our clients and how we can network, how we can tie, what your brother does or just with that client, because our whole thing is networking, and at the end of the day, we're a marketing company, so we have to network. We're just doing it in a different approach. We're not just you're not just send me the stuff, I'll post it out, which is fine, but that's just not the approach we're taking.
It's bring everybody along.
Network, how can everybody benefit from each other, because they're all great business owners. And somebody's looking for something here, and we can help you. They have, it's all connections and networking, and that's what we want to do. So not to cut you off.
I got really excited. Sorry.
No, that's all right. But that's why I bring this stuff up, is because like you just end up talking to people about it, and these things unfold in ways that you don't realize, and ways that you really couldn't realize. So without him doing that, and then without me talking about it right now, that connection wouldn't have been made. Same thing as when he puts it out there on LinkedIn and Instagram and all these things, and then suddenly somebody at a company sees it and they send it to somebody else who's like, oh, I need XYZ that he does. Let me talk to him. And then rather than going through the standard sales process of all this thing, you get on a podcast and you talk to a prospect in a conversational way. Like us having this conversation, like in this way, like imagine having a conversation with a prospect via this platform. This is a much easier environment flow than, hey, I need your money at the end of this. It's like, you're letting that unfold naturally. So it's all these things. Same thing with Instagram. When people come in and follow, you send the, hey, how are you? And then like, oh, I'm good. I bet it's only 10% of people that actually respond with text to your thing. But that one person, you start a conversation and then it unfolds, and then after 3 months, hey, we have like literally 15 people that came in to the store or contacted you because of your presence online now.
Yeah, and it's a snowball effect that takes time. But the more consistent, informative, quality content that gets put out for the page, the easier it is to convert a follower into a consumer for your business, because they feel like you're doing, they buy into not just your business, but your business standards, what it's doing. They really, right? So if I'm watching your podcast with different people, I'm really buying into, I love the platform, but I love what you're pushing, so, and that comes from consistent content.
Yeah.
So it takes time, everybody always wants to go.
I want it now.
Yeah, exactly. But it takes time, but at the end you get great results from it.
Cool. Well, guys, as we're kind of wrapping this up, do you guys have anything else that you want to touch on that we haven't covered in the conversation?
Maybe some things that are coming up for some of the businesses.
Yeah. Let's talk about kind of the future direction of some of these businesses and what you got going on with them and what they're trying to promote. Definitely want to touch on that, and then also where people can kind of get in touch with you guys to either check out your stuff or start working with you. Yeah, whatever you guys want to promote.
Absolutely. So Laura Swaggerty, she is the founder of the Justin Swaggerty Aviation Foundation. She's launching the press conference March 3rd at the Hilton in Naples. So that's coming up. Nazir, he owns Elite Exotic Rentals. He brought that business from Jersey to Naples. So I'm super stoked about that, because it's just really going to be, it has the
and they're great people.
They're great people. So the standards, the values are just there for the company, but that's what they live by as well. High standards and great values. Sure. So that business in Naples, it just makes it changes things, and
it's the perfect location for an exotic
car
rental company.
Exactly. So and his site is about to go he's actually going to be at the Naples Motor Fest on the 6th of March. We'll be there with him, so that's something that's coming up. Quidley and Company Art Gallery, they're amazing. So first time we just went to an exhibit. It was my first time going in an art gallery.
JoJo.
And for a big artist, we went to that art gallery, and first time going, awesome experience. Keith, like you mentioned, the wood furniture.
Keith Fettelstead.
Yeah, Fettelstead Nord is his company name.
So cool.
Seriously.
That one I have seen his work. It's very impressive.
And he's new here, so that's why we're trying to
He's brand new.
push
He
him.
just moved in November, from Minnesota.
I hope it works out for him, because he's got some real cool stuff. So.
He's actually based.
Good job, Keith.
He's based out of his shop is in Bonita, but he's servicing this whole area. And he's really just getting started. So a lot of these businesses that we're partnered with are just getting started.
They just got here. It's crazy how that works.
So and we love it, because they're growing, and we get to help them grow and be part of that growth. So we love it.
That's cool.
And now the Naples Lifestyle magazine isn't new, but they just got a new owner. Greg just bought it.
Yeah.
So
amazing guy.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
He's really just great. He's going to do
changing the town. He's meeting everybody.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he had the relaunch probably like a month into owning the Naples Lifestyle magazine, and 100 business owners in Cabo. So it just goes to show how much he's networking and how likable he is. So he's a great guy, and he's just going to take off with the Naples Lifestyle magazine.
Nice.
So that's a few.
I'm trying to think, but
You've
when
got
you draw
Shay's
blanks.
shop.
Yes, I have Shay's shop, which that's a crazy thing, but we're getting busy with everybody else that I feel like I'm neglecting it. But I mean, it's a really cool thing being able to like just sell random stuff or get contacted by people or find people or meet people that are trying to sell things, because the whole point of it is just to sell your stuff.
Yeah, like an online
like an
online shop,
Keith.
sales rep.
Yeah.
Right, with the Shea shop. I don't want to leave anybody. I feel bad leaving.
That's all right.
Yeah, I don't want to leave anybody out. But the companies that we're partnering with, just everybody across the board, just great companies.
Nice. And so if people want to get in touch with you guys to either work with you or learn more about what you're doing, where should they go?
RCMG Naples is the tag for everything, even our website.
RCMG Naples?
Mm-hmm. Even our email, rcmgnaples@gmail, rcmgnaples.com.
Okay.
Yeah, so they can get in contact with us there through social media as well.
Instagram,
Facebook.
Awesome.
I think eventually, if they don't get in contact with us, we're getting in contact with them.
Nice. Cool. Well, guys, thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for
Thank you
having
so
us.
much for your time.
No problem. All right. Thanks, everybody.